Hey everybody, I'm so excited to come back and have another little yarn, come together and hold space on this platform. And as I mentioned, I am really looking forward to creating like longer format content where I'm able to come and have a yarn and connect with you all, because I feel like on the other platforms everything's short, everything's fast paced, but being able to come and hold space and yarn to you guys about topics that are really important to me is priority. What I wanted to come and talk to you all about today is 2023 and intimacy. And I want to be really transparent, I want to be really raw, I want to be really organic. I want to talk about how intimacy in our society is so like convoluted. It is so from a Eurocentric, patriarchal, white lens and male dominated perspective. I think intimacy for me as an Aboriginal woman has meant many different things throughout my life. For me, intimacy means so many different things, and I wanted to talk about that being Aboriginal, my race actually shaping that experience. But I also wanted to talk about, you know, the impacts of colonization. I also wanted to talk about being in a fat body, so being in a big body. I'm size 24, so I'm not, you know, a size 18 or a size 20. I am a very big woman. So again, this is longer ended format. Grab tea, grab coffee, put me in the background while you send some emails. Let's have a yarn. So I was what you call a late bloomer, so I didn't have my first kiss until I was 19. I didn't have any boyfriends, I didn't have any partners until I was 19, and all of that was embodied in my daughter's father. When I met him, it was life-changing for many reasons. I think still to this day is a love of my life. I don't think anything can ever replace that innocent love that I had for him, that true love, and the way that he protected me and loved me even when he was young himself. He was 22, 23 and I was 19, so he still loved and nurtured me even though he was figuring out his own life. Anyways, we're not going to get into that, that's for another video talking about my love life. But in regards to intimacy in other areas, when I was younger, like many of you, intimacy was always known to me as sex or men, and men and women. The queer community was never discussed when I was growing up, in school or in society. I did have friends that were queer, but in saying that, they were very marginalized, then themselves going through growth and development and figuring out their own journey and identity, and weren't always up to kind of opening up for those discussions. And it's like something like trauma, you know, when you're going through trauma, you don't always want to divulge, you don't always want to dive into those conversations. When I was young, intimacy was like always physical touch, it was all of these types of things. And then when I was going through my 20s, it was very much the same thing. And I think only now that I've gotten older, intimacy to me is like, so, first of all, so important. Before, it was not important to me. At the moment, I'm not looking for love. I'm not on any dating sites. I'm not trying to meet people. I'm not, you know, scouting. My eyes aren't focused on finding a partner. Rather, I'm really invested in myself. I had my daughter at 23. I was thrust into motherhood at a really young age, and way too young. I think 23 is way too young to have kids, in my opinion. I really, for advice from my own daughter or anyone else listening out there, it is just too young to have a child. You need to live, you know, you need to find yourself, you need to have experiences. But also in saying that, I know I would not be here if I didn't have my daughter at the age I had her. I just would not have lasted that long, and that's for another video. So in saying that as well, intimacy was nothing that I was ever able to explore being a mum. You know, all of my love, my energy, all of it was into my daughter. My desires, my needs and my wants were not factored in. And I feel like over the last 2 years, I've been able to think about what I want. I've been able to, you know, imagine the lifestyle that I want to live. If it's with a partner romantically, if it's with friends, you know, people that I want to have close. And that's what's going to lead me into the next bit of this yarn, because intimacy for me now is even friendships. You know, it's family members, who I let into my life, who I let into my home, who I'll have conversations with, who I won't. I have really reevaluated intimacy, and as a result, I've become a lot more calmer. I've become a lot more focused. I've become a lot more okay with being alone. For many years, I had a really bad, and still do, struggle with abandonment or fear of abandonment, and that stems from childhood. But through intimacy and really realizing what it means to me, I've been able to work through that. My abandonment issues had come out with me being like independent. I don't need anyone. I don't want anyone. F this, F love. But now I'm on this new journey where I'm like opening up to it and opening up to it on my own terms, because the abandonment issues also resulted in me craving love, craving secret sharing and bonding and trauma bonding and healing and trying to fix people. So it manifested in two extremes, and for the first time in my life I'm able to sit back and really think about what I want. I'm able to carve out what intimacy means to me on my own terms. Now also, what's really important, guys, you need to understand that intimacy is interpersonal, and that means it means different things to different people. What you view or what you see as intimacy is not going to be the same thing for the other person. This also goes into like sexual acts or sex in general. You may be thinking that your bond is really sacred, it's really intimate, but to that other person, they're doing it with everyone else and some. This is the same thing with friendships. Like you may think, oh, me and my sister girl's friendship is so close, like I trust her with information, she trusts me with her information. She might be telling everybody that. She might be broadcasting it to the world. And I've had this happen a few times where I thought my friend was being transparent and they kept things to themselves for their own reasons, but then it kind of just made me feel like, why am I spilling my guts to you? Why am I allowing you into my life in this way and you're not doing the same? And that's what you have to realize, that intimacy isn't always a two-way street. You can't manipulate it, you can't control it, and I have been guilty of that because intimacy has been controlled from my side. So moving into my 30s, I crave a sensual love, like a really deep and passionate erotic love with a partner. I crave dating. I crave, you know, like the foreplay, like getting to know each other. I enjoy, or I'm looking forward to enjoying that. That is what I really enjoy, that side of things, and keeping that flame going, like something that has longevity as well. You know, you can love something for 2 weeks, but can you love it for 2 years? Can you love it for 20? I am looking for that, and this is when I get into like kind of love, and this is not about love, this is about intimacy, because those two things are separate as well. Let me tell you, let me remind you of that one. So I crave a love that is long term. Ever since I was a little girl, I know my other half is out there in the world. I just don't know where he is, and I think my other half will be revealed. Maybe I've already met them, maybe I've already loved them, maybe it's my baby daddy. I don't know. I don't know where he is, but let me tell you that much. I'm waiting. So as I said, for a long time in my life, I was like waiting. I was like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where's my man? Where's my man? Why am I alone? Why am I single? And that was so much stress. That was just putting myself in like fight or flight. That was making me hypercritical. That was preventing me from getting to know people. That was making me really vulnerable and latching onto people. Like I said, there was always these two extremes, and now where I'm at now, I am somewhat reserving myself for the one. I am somewhat waiting for them, because I know my other half, or the person that I'm supposed to be in a relationship, will value not the same things that I value, but they will value that I value it. I don't need that other person to be completely aligned with me, and that's the beauty of intimacy. I don't need them to have A, B, C, D in a checklist, and that's what the old AJ would have done. I'm waiting now for someone who respects and values what I want and need, and I'm able to respect and value what they want and need. And there's almost like a magnetic pull as well. I feel like there's almost a magnetic pull between, sometimes opposites attract, and let me tell you, they really do. I think because I'm so soft and nurturing, but I'm also really masculine and strong and powerful. My culture celebrates women. You know, my culture, we are matriarchal. You know, women could be healers, women could be leaders of tribes, women could hunt, women could be doctors. We were responsible for birthing and birthing practices. You know, this was strictly women only. So I think these elements are intertwined into intimacy for me today, and I need a partner, and I crave a partner that is going to celebrate that and value that. And in saying that as well, like, I'm not looking for someone to take care of me. I've never ever looked for that, and I think that's something that often sweeps men off their feet in particular. And I'm not talking about that now, because I'm open to dating many different genders, many different sexual orientations. This is previously, but that's for another video. Previously, I was dating men, and I feel like they were very intimidated. I feel like they were very scared of the fact that I was so strong and so confident and have that masculine streak in me. Don't get it wrong, like, some men love it, because some men are broken and some men are like little children, so some of them crave that in a woman. But to find a woman that is both of those things, so I'm at a really interesting spot now moving into the new year where I'm open to intimacy. I'm looking forward to like getting to know people like on friendships levels, like meeting new people, hearing their stories, connecting to them, sharing my own stories, letting my walls down, you know, welcoming people into my life. I'm looking forward to that this year in a really organic way, and even potentially love if that comes knocking on my door. But in saying that, it's not a New Year's resolution, it's not on the top of my list. I have also shared that I've been celibate now for 1.5 years, or I think going on to 2 years, a bit over 1.5 years. So I've been celibate now for a really long time. That's going to be another video, but I think that has shaped my intimacy as well, deciding that casual sex or hookups is just not for me, really abstaining from something that I felt like was driving a lot of my decisions, driving a lot of my responses, driving a lot of my needs. I've taken that out of my life now, and I feel so much calmer. I feel so much more focused and so much more ready to explore that again. And I've been celibate, you fellas, because I got trolled by a comment online. Don't think that I'm intimate because I can't get some. I can go up on the street and get some. I could download an app in 20 seconds, you hit the timer and get some. Let me tell you that much. I have abstained because I've wanted to. I've done this because it's what I wanted. You know, I was being so driven by my flesh. I was being so driven by desire, by these wounds that I had around abandonment, you know, this sense of gratification that I was having. So I have been celibate now for this period of time, and it has enabled me to heal. It has enabled me to focus on what I want to achieve. It's pushed me to be where I am today. But now I'm really ready to start looking at finding intimacy, and if it is a partner or if it's somebody that, you know, is interested in committing, I am open to that. But for the last 2 years, that has just not been on my radar. Intimacy in any capacity was not happening, but now I feel like I'm ready for that.